Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. I'm so glad that you've chosen this as your source of 5-minute Bible study. Thank you so much for listening. Today begins the end of Psalm 119. We've been studying Psalm 119 since the beginning of January this year. So 6 months into the year, we've been in one psalm the whole time. And we're going to this week, look at the Tav division, which will begin in verse 169 and end in verse 176. So I hope you're ready. This is the graduation prayer. We've been in the PS 119, the Schoolhouse of God's Word, ever since January. We've been learning our lessons, and now we've had our party. That was last week. This week, we get out into the world, and we find out that what we've learned now we're going to have to apply to everyday life. And so the psalmist treats us to these prayers based on what we've learned in Psalm 119. So we have the confluence of a lot of issues and themes that we've seen all throughout God's Word. I'll try to point them out as we go through this particular octonary. And I'm going to miss saying octonary. I'll just have to be honest with you. That's going to be tough for me not to have that in my little arsenal of teaching tools. After we finish this week, next week we're going to begin the section of Psalms that's called the Songs of Ascent. There's about 14 of those. It runs from 120 to 134. Those Psalms will be our focus. There's a break in there, I think it's 133 or 132, is not called a Song of Ascent, but all of them up to that point are Songs of Ascent. So we're going to package those and look at those as a set. I hope you'll join me. I'll do more introduction for those next week. And also I'm going to try to give you some translation of those as well. Well, before I run out of time, let me go ahead and read Psalm 119, verse 169 from the Tav division. Let my supplication draw near. Before you, O Lord, teach me according to your word. Well, that sounds like some things that we've seen before, doesn't it? And it should, because I believe the psalmist is really trying to bring together several themes. And we have teaching here, we have the supplication here, we have the drawing near, and of course it's all according to what? According to the Word, because we've been in the schoolhouse of God's Word. Everything is according to His Word. One of the things that we're going to see in this division, this last division of Psalm 119, is all of the according to ideas, the words, the commands, the precepts, the law, the judgments, all of that is going to be represented here. And so we begin with the Word. So teach me according to your word. But notice how he begins. Let my supplication. 169 and 170 look a lot alike. We have let my supplication draw near, and then we have in the 170, let my supplication come before you. So we need to talk about the difference here. There are two different Hebrew words that are used. I've translated them both supplication, but there are some very important differences. The first one here in 169 is let my supplication, and that is his ringing cry. And some of your translations will actually have let my cry draw near to you or before you, O Lord. The cry is drawing near. It's a ringing cry. It's a cry for help. This is not a polite, politically correct, religious prayer that he's reading out of some prayer book. This is a prayer that is streaming out of his heart. We've seen this before. We have it again here. Teach me according to your word is an important piece because we've seen teaching before. Now we have it again in the last section. Oh, and the draw near, another important word, a verb here that's used oftentimes when we're talking about sacrifice and offering. We're drawing near with a sacrifice. We're coming towards the tabernacle or to the temple with some offering for the Lord. Well, that's the idea here. Let my supplication, my ringing cry, come close to that place of presence where you'll hear it, and then teach me according to your word. Don't miss out on any day this week. Join me tomorrow as we look at 170 and 171 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.